Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another video from Eddie's World of Figures. Today, I have two great figures here to review. Got Piccolo, the great Proud Namekian. Actually, the Proud Namekian, but we're going to spice up a little bit. On the right, I have Nail, and both these figures are from the SS Figuarts line. Piccolo on the left was a general release that came out a couple years ago. This is actually the original. They had a reissue that came out last year. And then we have Nail again. This is actually a pre-Bandai exclusive that came out this year. We're lucky enough to get this guy pre-ordered and in. I'm very excited. And on top of that, I have a very special guest here with me, my one and only girlfriend.
Hey guys!
She's a little shy. She's excited to be here. But that's enough of that intro, guys. Let's get on with the review. As always, I want to start with the box designs and the art that's on here. So as you see, they almost look similar, but they have their differences. You still have your Toei Animation sticker, your Dragon Ball Z logo, your Tamashii Nations logo, Bandai logo, all on both boxes. The only difference is, as I mentioned before, the Nail is a P Bandai exclusive, so that's why you have this logo here. Now, if you guys do want me to do a video just explaining all these different stickers and logos and stuff on the boxes, comment in the video. Let me know what you would like for that. But these stickers here, they're silver because this again is the US release. There is no difference with the releases depending on what the region is. I guess it's just for keeping count of what figures go where. But here you still have the design by Tamashii Nations in Japan and Bandai Spirits in China. So this is pretty much made in the Chinese factory, and you have the same thing over at the Nail Box, the Chinese factory. There is rumors that the Vietnam factory isn't too good compared to the Chinese factory, but the way things have been going, QC issues have been roaming, regardless of what figures you're getting from these factories. But both of them have the modern Tamashii Nations seals on it. This lets you know this is a real Tamashii Nations figure. Even if you do have the seal here, I don't really see that counterfeited in the bootleg world. So if you're trying to make sure this is real, be sure to look for these stickers here on each box. Also, the Tamashii Nations seal, I say seal, but the Tamashii Nations logo there. So, just like the modern SS Figures boxes, you have the open window displaying the figure and the accessories. Over here, you have the SS Figuarts Piccolo, the Proud Namekian. And over on the right, you have the SS Figuarts Nail. So, we're now going to turn this to the side here and show you guys what the art is here. Same generic designs here. You have the three windows and you have the figure pictures here displaying their action poses. What's cool about this Nail box here is that they have the regenerated arm here from when you got it detached from Frieza. I wonder if my lovely girlfriend would like to say anything because Nail is actually one of
Nail!
her favorite characters.
Nail! I'm so excited about this figure, guys. We had to wait how long for this to come in?
About 7 months.
This is my first time waiting for a figure, so it was unbearable.
Believe it or not, we actually have two of these. She's an in-box collector. I am not. I like to take my figures out of the box and actually display them. But yeah, Nail became one of her favorite characters, even though he didn't have that much screen time.
Hey, it wasn't about the screen time, it was about his function.
Yeah. On the pictures here, I like what they did. Piccolo too, you have a nice representation of the figure's character, you know, what's pretty much in the box, and these nice action poses here. At the bottom, you have the SS Figuarts Piccolo, the Proud Namekian logo here. And on Nail, it's simple SS Figuarts Nail. You kind of wish they could have would have done something else with the name besides just Nail, like they did with Piccolo, but maybe it's because there's so many Piccolos in this line. But who knows? Maybe we'll see another version of Nail, maybe.
I think Neil's name says it all.
You think it says it all,
It
man?
says it all.
Okay. All right, on the back. So over here, you have pretty much a complete picture of the figure. You have some action poses here, depicting, the different articulations, the different accessories here. I do like that they do that. I mentioned in my previous video with the old box, I did not like that design. It kind of hurt my eyes with the dots all over it. I like the simplicity that they did with the modern boxes, and they cleaned it up. It's kind of straight to the point. Doesn't hurt my eyes. I like the colors. It's neutral. I'm not trying to be, what do you call it, minimalistic, but this is straight to the point.
Yeah.
I like this. Simplistic. And yes, as you guys see here, this is a reissue. It's still technically the original Piccolo. I say the original because there was technically one that came out in 2009. That's a 1.0. 1.0. This was the second version of that Piccolo that was updated. And people do kind of look more to this one because that's the technically 2.0 technology. But this is just a reissue of that same figure. Same figure, it's just they're like, we're going to release it again. So over here, we have the pretty much the basic picture of Nail, just depicting him with his cross arms in the back. You have some pretty sad pictures here. Oh, when he was down, which is kind of the gimmick. Let me zoom this in here so you guys bring this in closer. This is what Nail is pretty much entitled to right here, which isn't bad because that was what his screen time was. Like they're showing him respect, of course, but for them to just straight up have a picture of him just laid out like that, hey, I get it. And
That's
then they
where he
got
was for some time in those episodes.
don't disrespect Neil. Anyhow, you have Frieza in the picture here getting ready to rip his arm off, and to kind of add to that, they actually included the regenerative arm piece that got broken off. So I do like that addition, and we'll get into that too once we get into the accessories. Turn it to the side here. You have your open cutout window so that you can see the head sculpts of the figure. At the bottom, you have your SS Figuarts Piccolo, Proud Namekian name again. And on the nail box, it's also SS Figuarts nail. See here at the top of the box, nothing too different from these modern boxes. Same open window so you can see more of the figure and the accessories that are in it. And you have a bit of another picture of Piccolo doing the special beam cannon, even though they could have had the effect in here. They didn't. They're so freaking cheap with the they're going to rant here with the effect pieces. They just cheap out with the effect pieces. They want you to buy it separately. Then you have Nail. Let me get the camera correct here. Then you have Nail with his little grunting face because he's hurt. But at the bottom, let's say you guys are displaying these boxes at like on the shelf. They do have some art at the bottom so that you're not missing out. If you're like my girlfriend, you're an in-box collector. You have pictures of the figure depicting on what it is. SS Figuarts Piccolo in white. Picture him right here. SS Figuarts Nail. And another good action pose with both of these guys. Even though Piccolo is kind of just standing there looking menacing. But you do have some action coming from Nail. Now, I do notice even though these are somewhat of the same Namekian, the coloring is a little different. The Piccolo box has a lighter green to it, and the nail one is a little bit darker. Bring it up a little closer to the camera so you guys can see. Yeah, it's a little bit different in shade. So, did want to point that out real quick. Alrighty. That's enough for the boxes. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's get to the accessories, guys. Now that I have the clamshells out of the box, we'll talk about the accessories that come for each of these figures here. Now, Piccolo on the left, Now he does come with this really nice cape. I already have it on the figure because this figure has actually been in my collection for over a year now. Um, Normally it's supposed to come inside of the clamshell. Let me show this off a little bit. And it just comes in here. Just wanted to show you guys, if you bought this guy brand new, what you would be expecting. He actually does not come in the box like that. But this cross arms already do come on. This is probably, I think, the only figure I have that actually has the cross arms that come on like this. If you look at the package here, his regular arms are already in the package. So you have to take out the cross arms here and attach the regular arms. Now, apart from the regular arms they include as accessories to the cross arms here, you actually have his cut off arm piece from the Saiyan saga. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep. See there? There's got a little blood on there. Let me bring this up a little closer for you guys. Yep, right there. I'll actually take this out and show you guys a little bit better because the clear package is kind of disrupting a little bit with the light in the back. But you have the 4 additional head scopes here. Technically 2 head scopes and then 2, I guess you can call this a head scope too, because this actually has the what would you call this? Maybe a hat? It was like a helmet he wears. I guess you call it a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say a doobie, but
You can actually remove this. I'm gonna break it. Worry about it later. I'll show you guys with articulation. But yeah, you can actually remove this piece here, and you can actually add it to the other head scopes in there.
Is it just pegs
Yeah,
that's holding in it?
it's just pegged in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see I like the little dome there. I'll take all this out.
And this is why I keep mine in the box, guys, because I really just don't know how they come apart and I don't want to break
Have instructions.
them.
They have instructions in the box. Matter of fact, show the instructions right here. If you're ever confused and you're scared and you don't want to mess up anything, a lot of these figures either come with like a physical paper of instructions showing you what to do. As you guys can see here, it explains how to remove the head, things
This
like
whole
that.
time?
Yeah, and some of the modern boxes actually have the instructions on the lip of the box. Oh, yep, yep.
I've never seen this come out. Okay.
Because you're an embossed collector.
No, with you, you just get your figures and start moving them around.
Now, sometimes I have to read the instructions.
I see.
But in addition to those head scopes, you do have some pieces that actually add on to the cape piece, where you can actually use a stand of your choice and make it seem like this guy is flying. You have 4 additional hands on top of the closed fist that already come on the arms in the package, and then you have 1 special beam cannon effect. Hand. Sorry, hand. Let me correct it. Hand. And then, let's say you don't want the cape, you can actually take it off. You can actually add in, they have included a little shirt piece that actually hides the hole where the cape goes. So that's a nice addition. Now, onto my girlfriend's new favorite figure and his
Nail!
character. You have the nail accessories. Nail comes with 4 additional head scopes. He comes with his collar piece, and when he does come in the package, he actually comes wrapped in this paper here or plastic right here, and he comes with his special regenerative arm piece. And I'll show that off more too once we get a little bit later in the video. I'm showing off the articulation, and he has 4 additional actually he has 6 additional hands, including his closed fist hands. You guys see here, I just had his hands already in the back. Now, what I want to do later in the video too is see what parts are interchangeable between these two, because they seem to be pretty much the exact same figure, except there's some slight changes here and there. This is a modern iteration of Piccolo technically, but we'll get into that too. But I'm about to knock over the camera. But yeah, as far as accessories, not bad, especially with Nell. I will tell you guys, I did get this reissue Piccolo from Amazon. At the time, it was about $57. I unfortunately is about 75 upwards, like 75 plus. Sometimes you get them for like 100. There was reports that there's supposed to be another reissue or Piccolo. So if you missed out on that, and you don't want to pay the $100 for them, just wait till next year, and you'll have an opportunity to get them again for a decent price. Nail, on the other hand, was a gosh, how much was he? $80. He was $80, guys. This is crazy that they're charging so much for these P Bandai releases or just figures in general. I'm not gonna go on with that rant. But for $80, that's a lot. I mean, it's like I guess when you look at Piccolo, I guess compared to price of plastic, almost the same, almost, but not quite. But for the amount of accessories that you do get, and the cape too. Well, the cape, the coat is, I guess you can call this technically accessory too. So I guess technically, price to plastic, it would be about the same.
See, I had a question for you in
Mm-hmm.
regards to the plastic. For Piccolo, his cape is a harder plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have wanted to see them do the soft plastic that Nail has for the cape, or would you want to keep it how it is?
I would actually like them to do what they're doing now with modern Piccolos, where it's soft goods.
Okay.
Now, if they were able to incorporate like the soft rubber like this is,
Hmm.
I like that too. But I actually like the wire capes they're doing now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, that's enough of the accessories. So let's get into the articulation with these two figures.
Woo!
We are back again. Got these guys set up in a way so we can talk about the details now. So let my girlfriend go first. I feel like I've been talking enough. So what do you think? What do you think about these two? Do you think they're exactly alike, or do you see like any differences here?
I think that they did a great job, SH Figuarts, with capturing their demeanors because I see Nail's demeanor. He's obviously Grandmaster Guru's bodyguard. That is what he's here for, to give that sacrifice. He doesn't care about anything else but that and his brothers. Oh my god, Nail!
Well, sir, if you're having a problem with our customer support, you can call 1-800 Eat a Dick.
All right, we fixed Nail.
Oh my gosh,
Nail's back.
Nail.
Had a little mishap with Nail, but we fixed him. He's already
And
trying to take himself out.
it's hard to see over again. Okay.
Just like a Proud Namekian.
And then for Piccolo, Piccolo's demeanor. He's watching everything, he's calculating it, he's figuring out what needs to be done while picking up on other things. So I see that in their demeanors.
It's a good outfit. Yeah, I completely agree. I like that even in figure form, it's like these characters are directly out of the anime,
Mm-hmm.
and you even though they're both Namekians, you can still technically tell these guys apart. Even regardless of clothes, you can still see the Nail expression and Nail, like his like who he is, and then Piccolo, stern face, like he's just ready to go all the time. One thing I want to point out is the pants. Although I've seen other reviewers talk about how they just took the Piccolo pants and just colored it white. Um, upon close inspection, that's sort of true and sort of not. So the same thing as the New York Comic Con Gogeta. They took the Piccolo pants and did update it just a tad. So what did they update? If you notice the back, like the crotch area, bring this in a little closer. Crotch area is a little bit more updated here with the cuts and the way the legs are. Oh, get the camera here a little bit better here. Let's see here. There's a little. I mean, the articulation and stuff. We'll get into all that later, but they did update it just a tad. I will give that. And another thing I want to point out is the. Let me not knock these guys over. It's the feet, right? So I like what they did updating the feet, because the one complaint about the Piccolo here arm is the way the feet design. Like, it was just a cup. You guys can see here. Like, there's not much like ankle articulation going on there. Like, there is a ball swivel in there where you can rotate the foot around, but it does seem like the machinations were listening to us and actually incorporated a nice little cut here. Let me get the camera right here. The cut here. Did you see that? So there's actually a nice ball swivel. Like, actually, there's an actual joint there where you can actually rotate this nicely, get better range articulation. But I just want to show that.
That's a
Show
nice
that real
touch.
quick. Yeah, it
You know,
does get a little screwed up a little bit, but anyhow, fixed it. Yeah, it's a nice little touch there with the detail that they did, and I'll get more in detail with the articulation part with that. But I want to touch on that. Ignore the train. We do live near a train, but
Nails pants.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Do they remind you of uh Vegeta's pants? Go Vegeta.
Gogeta's pants?
Thank you.
Actually, no.
No,
No.
those are more flared.
I wouldn't say flare. They're not as big, but the way the sculpting is
Mm-hmm.
up here at the I guess you can call it the waist area
Mm-hmm.
is a little different. Like, you saw, like, I was able to get a full range.
Yeah.
That Gogeta can't do it in the way they cut it. But I get what they were doing with that particular figure. They were trying to be movie accurate.
Okay, you can take this out.
I'm gonna leave that in.
Ah,
But let's move his arms. But you guys see, like, the way the head sculpts are. Let me get the camera here. But look at the face sculpts. Like, that looks like nail.
mm-hmm.
Sorry, my camera's struggling here. The light. Yeah, look at that. That is nail. I like the way they did the arms. I've heard one guy, another reviewer, complain about the arms. Like, they wish that the arms were like the superhero arms. I actually have that figure. Hey, would you mind getting that figure for me on the cabinet, please? Okay, guys, I'm back. Brief interruption here. I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of show what I was talking about there. There was a reviewer, and that's his opinion. I understand where he was coming from, but Neil, this is based off the anime. Like, this is how Neil came out of the show. So he's not gonna have the muscle striations on the top. It's going to be on the side because that's the way he was drawn in the anime. Same thing with Piccolo back there. Same thing with Piccolo. But I brought out, and I'll do a review on this figure a little later too. I brought out the superhero Piccolo. But you guys see how the muscle striations are on top and not the side? That's just the way this figure was drawn in that movie in particular. Now, if Nail was drawn in a way and they didn't do it right, that would be my complaint. But no, they did what they supposed to do, and they were faithful to Nail's design in the show, and I appreciate that. Some, don't get me wrong, I'll be quick with this. Sometimes people complain about weird stuff, and it's like, if you would just take the time and go back and actually look at the source material and compare it, then you can, I feel like you should make an opinion. But just going off like the figures because you feel like something should be some way and it's like going off the design, I'm just like, I don't, that doesn't really sit right with me. So I feel like once you start kind of going off of that, like, now you're just creating a figure that didn't exist, or now you just got your own interpretation of what the original art form was. But that's a whole discussion for later. But on Piccolo, I do appreciate how his design is too. It's quite simple, but at the same time, it's Piccolo. Although there isn't much shading on Piccolo, there is shading, but not much. And I do want to show the difference with the nail too, because that is a P Bandai figure. So it's supposed to have, first of all, the plastic's supposed to be premium. The figure overall is supposed to be in higher quality than this general release, although this is still a good figure. One thing myself and other people, and myself included, did not like. Get the camera here. I did not like how they have this weird red lipstick on this version of Piccolo. It's weird. I don't know why they did that. Other head sculpts in the package don't have that. Like, for example, this head sculpt does not have that weird red lipstick. It was just a weird design choice they did back then. Just weird. Don't know why they did that. But the cape itself, this is all one big plastic piece, does have a bit of shading on it. So that's good. It's like a little bit of gray shading that you can see there. And it does give it some good highlights, but as far as the figure itself, not much. Since we're still on the topic of shading, there is some shading going on Nail's pants. It's like a bluish grayish hue going on there. They're in the crevices, and it does bring the pants a little bit better. It gives it more of a quality look to it. Like it's just not a piece of plastic. It does make it look like a good premium figure, I should say, when they do that. I like that they did that. You do have the nice ab design that they have here. The paint application on this guy is really clean and neat. I don't see any bleeding. There's no paint chips. There's no paint mishaps. None of that, which I do appreciate. What do you think, Nick? Nice and clean, right?
I love the hue of green they got for him too.
Ah, let me I
It's
almost forgot.
very even
Yeah.
and balanced.
So, guys, only I'm able to pick up on it, but my girlfriend noticed that Nail is actually a darker shade of green. I keep spitting on my camera. Nail is actually a slight darker shade of green than this Piccolo on my left. Now, were they the same shade in the anime? Yeah, but I'm sure it's just probably differences in quality of plastic, or maybe they just chose to use a darker shade for this particular iteration of Nail. But that was a nice eye that she picked up because I was thinking they just used the exact same green as Piccolo here on the left, and no, it's slight darker. You guys picking up? Yeah, you guys see that in the camera now. Yeah, slight difference. Oh, and the coat itself, soft plastic. It's actually make sure Piccolo doesn't fall over back there. But yeah, the coat here, soft plastic. I like the way they incorporate this. It's actually one piece, and they did include again the single collar piece. Some people don't like this because they want it to kind of peg in. I'm glad it didn't do that. Personally, I'm glad it just kind of a floating piece where I'm not worried about like any cutouts in the plastic and or anything like that making it look ugly. Another thing in design is the belts actually following the actual again the anime colors. Like Nail's belt is a little bit darker than Piccolo's back there. Piccolo has that light blue. Another thing I want to get in later is seeing what parts are interchangeable. But other than that, I like that they actually followed the old DBZ musculature. Dragon Ball Z back in the day was heavily, what's the word? I guess you can say like they like to show off like those bodybuilder builds, and you can see like Nail's jacked. See his triceps, like his biceps are bulging. Where's my yeah? Let me show you the superhero, right? So modern Piccolo, I guess they like having like that slimmer build to him, where you see all that musculature, but you don't have
Hmm.
like that defining like I'm a bodybuilder build, like I'm strong. You're still strong, but you guys get what I'm getting at here. Like you see how like huge his freaking arms are compared to the new superhero, or even Adama Piccolo. The difference there. Look even the shoulder. I just noticed that. Look at the shoulder build.
Yeah.
Just freaking jack Hill is. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out real quick. Piccolo follows the same thing. He has that real nice muscle build as well. Some freaking fat arms there. What are they, like 25-inch arms?
Yeah, they're ready to go.
But all right, guys, enough of that little ramble there. I feel like I've stayed on this part long enough. Let me get them back in focus here. There we go. Got them back in focus. All right, guys, let's move on to articulation now. For this portion of the video, we're now on articulation, but I'm doing something a little bit different because there are a lot of accessories that come with these figures, and I thought it'd be a good idea to not only bring out a few accessories from Piccolo and a few accessories from the nail figure while I talk about articulation, because I would like to see which parts are interchangeable between the two and what you can do, like kit bashing. But let's get on with the articulation. We'll start with nail. So one thing I do like is the coat itself. It's not obstructing anything. It's really nice, soft, and it is flexible and actually moves with the figure. I wouldn't advise leaving the coat on when trying to move his legs, outwards like this. You can actually remove the coat, and I'll actually show that here too in just a bit. But I do want to show just how good the articulation is with this guy, the legs, real quick. So his leg does come all the way up this far, up, which is actually really good. Depending, like, especially this is based off the Piccolo back there that came out a couple years ago. See how far his leg goes back. You know what? Before I move further, let's go ahead and remove his coat. I'll demonstrate that. So his head does remove pretty easy. You guys can see. Simple ball joint here. Get the camera focused. I'm on the camera. There we go. Yes, just like they have with like the 2.0 iterations back then. Still have that old ball joint, which I like. I like this. You remove the arms. The arms actually remove out pretty good, which don't obstruct anything. Mine's brand new, so you actually all you do is just kind of. I like to ease it and twist it a little bit and then pull out. Same thing for the right arm. And on the side. Now we're going to remove his coat so I can show you guys his range of motion a little bit better. And I'm going to be careful not to overstretch this plastic.
I think that's another reason why I like the collar being its own thing,
Yeah.
because it's not going to damage the jacket.
And you guys see here, this is own accessory, like I explained before. Like you can remove this and put it back on. It's nice soft plastic, so I'm going to put that back there. And this is where you add the I guess you would call this like the little collar piece by itself. And one thing I want to note, point out, and this is like my first complaint when I first pulled this guy out of the package. I was like, why is his neck so freaking huge? And it took me a bit, and then I realized they had to do a little compromise for the collar piece. And then once I put that on, I put the head back on like so. It all makes sense. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And put his arms back on like so, nice and smooth, right, babe?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the arm range too. But just want to get that coat off and then put on his little collar piece too, so I can show off his legs a little better. So even with the coat off, you still get some really good range. Kick up really far. Going back,
Oh,
really
wow.
good. Like this is way better than most figures these days too. I get it all the way back. You can do a freaking good kick to Frieza
Clean, too.
without losing his leg. On with the left leg, up that far as well. And he can move all the way back that far. It's real smooth too. It's real tight. There's no squeaking, nothing. Everything's buttery smooth as you expect from a premium Bandai figure for once. Now, can he do a full splits? Yes, Nail can. Yes, Nail can. Nail's the GOAT. Another thing I want to see here is how good his knee range is. He does have the double knee joints here. So it looks like his knee can come all the way in that far. Doesn't come far back, as you guys can see. It's been stopped by that piece of plastic there, which is fine. I'm not about to have Nail doing like a whole football kick like that. Same thing on the right leg. Knee comes in that far. And you have his calf that touches almost the back of his back of his thigh, but it's just stopped because of the way the plastic is cut out. On his feet, his ankles do rotate in a full 360, as you guys see here, and because of the way they redesigned it, because it's on a ball swivel and a joint, you can actually rotate this now in pretty good. You guys see here? You can actually rotate the foot in and outwards now. Well, actually left and right, so you can actually get some good range. Because you couldn't do that on the Piccolo, and I'll show that too in a bit. Same thing on the right leg, full 360 rotation. And I like how they have, again, how that ball joint swivel there. Toe joint, going that far, which is actually really good. Doesn't come down at all, just goes back flat. Same thing on the left leg. Toe joint goes in that far. Now its foot does go down that far, which is actually really good. Let's say like you're doing like a flight pose, and it goes in that far. It's actually really good range for these feet now. It makes me hope that they do maybe, and they probably won't do like an update on that Piccolo back there with these feet design, but knowing Tamashi Nations, they'll probably give it to us 10 years from now. Let's see if he can do a full T pose with his arms here. Yes, he can really well. There's actually some, looks like some better shoulder articulation here they've incorporated. Look at there. They actually go well beyond a T pose here. Arms still do a full 180. Left and right, real smooth. And these are butterfly joints. So I like how they incorporate these because you have better range of motion where you can actually pull these out now and receive them in. These articulate too. They actually rotate just a tad. Put his arm back in. We can have even better range of motion. Get this guy fixed. There we go. You can actually, again, recess this in, and that gives you a better look when you have the coat on so it doesn't look too broad, or you need to kind of fix his shoulders a little bit. But that's really nice range of motion right there that they've incorporated. And they could have cheaped out. They could have just left this like a basic upper torso and just left the arms where you can just swivel it around a little bit. No, they really went all out for this, which is well deserved for now. Let's see about his ab crunch. Let's see. I do like the cutout here, how they have the paint going across the line here, up the chest. Some people complain that his chest is too big, but it's like, again, the DBZ drawings back then were very muscular and big, like they're bodybuilders almost. I guess it was kind of show like their power, but ab crunch is really good. He comes in that far. Going up, looking up from his back. Also really good, but it comes with its drawback. There is a really bad opening here where the cutout is, the compromise for that. So if you're having Nail look up all the way, be mindful of this little gap here that appears. But just looking straight forward, you can't really tell. Let's see. Can he rotate in full 360? Yes, he can. Full 360. Let me get his belt fixed here. There we go. He has such good a range of motion that now he's just too good at range of motion. There we go. That fixes his belt. So he does have full 360 in the waist area. Is there anything else you want to talk about this figure?
No, I think you have it covered.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, no, you really touched on everything.
So the arms. So again, they've left it. We have the double joint here. So lifting in, his forearm goes in that far. Unfortunately, it doesn't go all the way in as far as you think. It does kind of get stopped by his massive bicep right there.
Mhm.
Same thing with the left arm here. Goes in that far. I feel like they probably could have incorporated the range just a little bit better, but I guess we'll take what we can get. Does have some really nice, let me show you guys. Swivel on the wrist. It's your typical ball peg with a swivel on it that you can rotate around to get different ranges. And the hand, like swapping out hands, stuff like that, it's pretty good. Pretty smooth. Just simply pop it back on. And let's talk about his neck range real quick. I'm going to pop his head off like so. And I'm going to take the collar off so we can see here. And one thing I want to do real quick is I'm going to remove Piccolo's cape. So I'm going to put his head back on. And one thing I noticed, I was like, why is this guy's neck so long? And it was, again, just to have his head just a little bit above the white collar here. That's what that was for. It's like his head. I was like, I don't like this already. His freaking neck's too long. I was like, we have another Goku that did that. But no, it looks fine. We'll get into Piccolo in just a bit. Now his neck range does look a little goofy when you look down.
Yeah.
But he does have some really good range looking down. He can actually pretty much almost look at his chest, really. That's really good. Now looking up, his neck, it just comes back right in there, about right here. Doesn't go any further. But his head range, it kind of can look up just a tad. Not as good as you probably want it to be, especially with how he can look down like that. But it's decent. Pop this back on, and we'll move on to Piccolo, the Proud Namekian. Whoops. There we go. This guy to the side. And now we have Piccolo. So, out of the box, Piccolo comes with his cross arms already attached. So, when you're swapping out Piccolo to his regular arms, you'll simply grab it either side and you'll simply pull away from the figure and you'll see a simple peg system there. And that's it. You pull away and now you're left with just his shoulders, and you can easily peg in his arms like such. I'm going to move his head again real quick. I'm going to add his cape back on. I can show you guys the articulation for that too, which pegs in the back here. Shoulder pads back on. And you can really see the shading going on from the whitish gray that they did with the cape onto the black shading a little bit better now. Put Piccolo's head back on. It can be a little tough with this hard plastic than it is with Nell with the soft plastic back there. So do be a little patient and then get things set right. That way you don't break anything. There you go. Now Piccolo, even though he's an older figure and very similar to Nell back here. Fix his feet back here.
No, please.
Yeah, he's already trying to take himself out. But yeah, Piccolo's quite different. So he's an older figure. He doesn't have that soft plastic as you would hope with Nell, but they did incorporate some joints with the cape to help with that. So the cape itself does have its own points of articulation, as you guys can see here. It does have this nice little swivel that you can move up and down. There's actually 2 points of articulation when it comes to this cape. So it can come up and down, and it can go side to side. So it gets that nice wind effect like he's flying around. Now the middle piece, you guys show you here. This is the joint system that this cape works off of. So if you move the center piece up and down, it moves the whole piece. And if you move the left and right piece on the side, they can move up independently, which is cool. So just be mindful of that. That's how the whole joint system works. Now for Piccolo's arms, I'm going to take his cape off too in just a bit to show you guys the arm articulation, because it is obstructed the way the shoulder cutout is for his armor or his cape. Same thing as nail. Let's see if he can do the full splits. And yes, he can. Yes, he can. And again, he does have the exact same articulation and design as the nail. The only difference is the feet. This is the old Piccolo design where it's just like kind of a cup foot here. Okay. I do want to show the knees off real quick to show you guys that this cape out of the way. The knee articulation is actually the same as nails over there. Pretty much the same leg design. But the feet, because it has that old style Piccolo cup design they were doing back then. Excuse me. Anyhow, sorry about that. There isn't that much good of range with the feet. Like it has some to it, but there's a ball joint in there that you can in a swivel. But because of limited range that they did, you can't do much with this, which sucks. And I'm glad they fixed that with nail back there. Although the toe swivel is the same as the nail, which is good.
Do you think for that re-release coming up next year for Piccolo, they might address it?
No, it's gonna be the same
The
exact
same
figure.
exact thing?
Yeah, because this is a reissue of that same figure that came out. Like it's the exact same figure design. Only time they'll do a bit of an update like that, like when they changing like the scope, they pretty much gonna issue out a complete new figure.
I see.
Yeah.
Tamashi.
Yeah. Remove his cape piece here. So what's also cool about Piccolo is that there's this nasty cutout here, you guys can see, that came with the original Piccolo. And to combat that, they've included an extra shirt piece for the back. You can actually peg that in and hide that. Get the camera fixed here. Although you still can see a bit of the cutout line in the back. You guys can see that. But it's better than having a hole there, though.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Better than having a hole. But it fits in nice. It doesn't fall out or anything like that. It stays in place. Another cool touch that he did, and I'll get back to articulation. I'm just making this real quick, guys. It's a bit hard though. I don't think I've ever taken head scope out. I'm gonna do this off camera. Went ahead and took off Piccolo's pretty much just I guess say helmet or hat that he has. Wouldn't it be a turban?
It's a turban, or I would call it a doobie.
Okay.
Like a doobie wrap.
We'll call it a turban then. But they actually have it where you can remove the turban from Piccolo's head sculpt here, and you can swap out. I'm just being real quick with this. Just a little addition here. Pop that in, and Oh, I got it on backwards. Nope. So if you're getting confused like me, they actually have it like slotted, where it only goes in one way. See a little cutout there? You just line that up with the turbine and slide it in. It's pretty tight. This is my first time actually removing this turbine. It fits nice,
Secure.
nice and secure. All right, on with the arms. Let's see if Piccolo can do a whole T pose. And yes, he can. Can he go up just as well as Nail? Unfortunately, no. His arms get stuck. Well, stopped right here because of the way the top of the gi is cut with the plastic. And that's just part of the old design they did. And I'm glad they fixed that with the nail back there. Now, that does not stop the rotation of the arms. He still can do a full 360 here with the right arm. Same thing with the left. Part of that arm rotation is butterfly joints are completely different than nails. Now, it's kind of an uglier design than what nail was, and I'll show that again in a second. I'll bring them over here. But quite simple design, but it still gets the job done. But let's say like you're doing pictures from the back and you're gonna see all this. You're gonna see all these ugly cuts and stuff, but I guess that's just what he had to do in order to make this work. But really good range because he can bring his arms all the way in, like he's getting ready to hug you and squeeze you. So he's about to take on Goku, really squeeze him. Really good range though for what they did. Even though this is ugly, he actually has better arm, or I will say this old design has better range than the butterfly joints that are on nail. Although the nail looks better, this works better. Now for the ab crunch. Let's see how well this Piccolo is. Actually, just as good. Comes all the way down that far. Looking up, just as good as well. Although has the same problem as the nail, we're looking all the way up with his chest. Does open up a bit of a gap here, so that can be quite ugly for photography. I'm sure there's ways around that, but just to be on the lookout for that. Same thing with the back. When you're looking down, as you guys see here, there's a bit of an extra cutout here, but I guess they did that as a compromise for the extra bit of range for Piccolo. Let's see if he can do a full 360 at the waist. And yes, he can. Oh, give me the camera. Yes, he can. Full 360. No problem. Pretty good. And same thing as the nail. Has the old ball joint and swivel. The neck range, let's see. So far I can look down. Just as good. He can look down his chest. Looking up. About the same. Same as now. So it seems like they took a lot of the designs from this particular Piccolo and simply updated on it, like pretty much improved on the design itself. And you want to keep my promise and show you guys what I was talking about with the butterflies real quick. You guys see that? How this is kind of like function over beauty, and this is beauty over function. This looks so much better, but it comes in a compromise. Like you can't come all the way in with the arms like you can with the Piccolo. This looks ugly as heck, but you can do so much more with it, which is cool. Just want to show you guys that real quick. And this guy's back. I almost forgot to mention that. This guy's back is freaking back day back here.
He's definitely cycling creatine.
Cycling more than creatine, that's for sure.
Mm.
It's like in that nice Mickey and juice. Oh, the guru. But all right, guys, that's enough of articulate. Oh, wait, before Piccolo's has the same wrist peg system as Nail. So I do want to show that real quick. But that'll pretty much wrap it up for articulation. But for the extra pieces that I wanted to do for this, like I said, we're doing this a little bit different. We're going to see what parts work with each figure. So we'll be right back. We're going to get that set up. Okay, guys, in this part of the video, it's kind of an extra part. I don't normally do this, but because it's a special case with Piccolo and Nell, me and my girlfriend both were curious about which parts work with which. And the first thing I want to do, definitely want to show off that nice translucent arm piece here. And to do it, you simply take the arm, pull outwards. It can be a bit awkward too because you feel like you're going to break something, but don't be scared. Just just make sure you're gripping it pretty tight. Put his arm on, like so. And let me change his face out. There we go. Get Nail in his iconic pose of regenerating his arm. Immense pain. So cool. So cool. I'm so glad he included his arm. This is like the best piece out of the whole figure, really, for me.
Yeah.
There is, make sure my camera picks it up. I want you guys to see that too. They actually included sweat droplets on Nail's head sculpt when he's regenerating his arm. That is such a cool detail. Like I didn't even notice at first. I thought it was like a weird paint issue going on in my figure. I was like, no, that's a sweat. They really put the sweat decal on there too. Like it's on his cheek too, right here. Right there. And then there's another one at the top right next to his antenna. Oh, there's another one on this other cheek here. So they really went all out for this.
Yeah.
And he has the veins and everything. They stressed. That's real cool. So I want to see if this arm works with Piccolo. So this is Nail. Just want you guys to see that. I'm not doing any trickery here. I'm going to take this arm off now. I'm going to put Nail on the side here. I'm going to take my Proud Namekian Piccolo. I'm not sure if I can remove this arm or not, but we'll see. Well, got its bicep disconnected. Let's see. No, I don't think it's going to work with the regular Piccolo arm here without possibly breaking it. But let's see if we can just put the Nail arm on the Piccolo instead then. Because they both have the same design. So I'm going to pop this back in. Like so. And I'm going to remove Nail's arm. I'm going to put it on Piccolo. See if that actually pegs in or not. It actually pegs in.
Like butter.
Yeah. What'd you say, babe?
Like butter.
Like butter?
That's right.
Like butter. Let's see if the heads swap out too. Look how nice the hand is like glowing and back there. Like the light's hitting it from the like desk. So this is the original Namekian, sorry, the Proud Namekian head. So we're gonna put this on the left so we don't get these confused. Even though Nail's head's a little bit darker. So this is Nail's head. And we're gonna put it definitely gonna do this right. We're gonna put Nail's screaming head on Piccolo, and it fit in so well. So you can really interchange some of these parts here. So you can make it like Piccolo's and got hurt and he's changing his arm out. And it even kind of works a little bit better too, where like he's grabbing his arm. Let's see here. Do I have? We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. I'm just excited. That's freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is an awesome addition. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, the heads. Let's see if the hands are interchangeable. So I'm gonna put. So this, just so we're staying on track, this is the nail arm that has the regeneration for hand growing out. I'm gonna put that back with the nail, and we're gonna put the Piccolo arm back on. And what I want to see is if I put the nail hand on Piccolo's arm, will that work or not? Oh, it works. Yeah. Just like it grew back and now it's all complete.
Yeah.
So guys, just so you're fully aware and you have these two figures here, Nail and Piccolo, you can easily interchange the parts. Easily. Another thing I want to try, since we're doing this, let me make sure I don't get the hands mixed up here, even though they're slightly different shades. I want to see if I can put the Proud Namekian head on Nails now. Yes. For my OG Dragon Ball fans out there, if you ever played the original Dragon Ball Budokai, there's a alternative costume in that game where you technically have Piccolo, but he has the nail outfit. This reminds me of that. This is so freaking cool. You can almost make this like a new Namekian. I don't know what you can call this guy. The Namekian. This is my Namekian right here.
Yeah.
That's my Namekian. Get him in focus here. All right. Enough flowery gag in there. Put that back on. All right, guys. I feel like we've spent enough time on this part. You want to say something?
No, I thought his head was coming off.
Oh no, it's there.
Okay.
It's on. Oh, this. I'm back on. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys. We spent enough time on the articulation part. We're excited. We didn't know that these parts didn't change like this, but it actually worked out really well. But all right. Now we're gonna move on to final part of the video. Pretty much our final thoughts on this, what we think, what we like, what we don't like. So we're gonna clean up here, get these guys back in some decent poses, wrap this up. One more thing, guys, and I forgot to touch on it. It is Piccolo's little bloody arm nub. So, of course, this fits on the Proud Namekian Piccolo, like so, and it just pushes in like that. Make sure I got this in right. Yep. So it just pops in like so. It's got a little blood effect there. This here, it is purple. It's not red like it is in the anime, but it's good enough what they were going for. This is still the nail head. I'll swap that back, but it does work. Look how cool that is. It would be so cool if they had, if I can put this over here. Pretty sure I could. I'm getting ideas here. Let me stay on track here. But I want to see if this fits on the nail real quick. I forgot to touch on that. Take this off. It's on there. All right, guys, one sec. Be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back again. Get this guy to focus. So what I wanted to see was if Piccolo's cut off arm piece fits on nail. Get the camera to focus. And yes, it does. And it actually looks really good on Nail because it's like, what if he lost his entire arm and needs to grow it all back? Hence, his pretty much his whole right arm. This works out so freaking well. You can pretty much do so many more scenes or create your own scenes with these nails, and with Nail and Piccolo with the different accessories. So it's like whatever was missing with Piccolo is now with Nail. That is so cool.
You think this makes up for the $80?
And you know what? Good point, babe. Yes, this makes up for the $80 price because you can swap all this around with the Piccolo. I'll cut him some slack now. I'll cut him some slack. Should have been more like $50, $60, but hey, that's still cool. Just want to touch on that. All right, so we'll now go on to our final thoughts now. Be right back. Come on. Be right back. Now we're going to give our final thoughts on these figures, what we like, what we don't like, and we'll let my girlfriend start here. What she thinks.
Well, I really do appreciate what was done for Neil's figure. I love the coloring that they went with for him. I love how they did the little upgrades to the feet versus Piccolo. The whole color scheme too is nice with the blue and reds that they chose and the white. Just for who Neil is as a character, they did a really solid job with him. The only complaint really is that gap you talked about right here when you're trying to move him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that pops up. Other than
Yeah.
that, like, I have no complaints for this.
What about Piccolo?
Well, Piccolo, I love Piccolo. Like, I forgot we had to talk about Piccolo too. Piccolo, I love everything but the lips that you pointed out to us.
Oh, the red lipstick here?
It's very weird. It makes it a different Piccolo to me. I don't know what this Piccolo has going on, but I love that it's very straightforward as to who Piccolo is as a character. Even though his muscles are different than Nails, it still fits Piccolo. And the only thing I wish was that improvement to the shoes that we
Yeah.
talked about.
Believe it or not, the arms are the exact same.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way that they move that's different.
Yeah, was that the butterfly swivel?
Yeah.
Butterfly joints, sorry. That's what's different.
I kind of wish they did that for him.
They probably just didn't have the technology.
At some
then.
point,
Yeah.
I wish they do that for him.
That'd be nice. I agree.
Yeah.
So my take on this is I really like how they took Piccolo's old design here and pretty much improved on it. Just like my girlfriend stated, I like how they improved the ankle joints here. That was a huge complaint by me and others. Like, why didn't you guys do at least a cut here and do some extra swivel? Because that really obstructs the range and motion. Because when I first got this Piccolo, it was really hard to get this guy. Now, he don't get me wrong, he is balanced really well. Same thing with Nail. But with the cape, you have to get this guy in a pretty much like the perfect angle with the legs so he doesn't just topple over. I have many cases where I'm just somewhere in like a different room and I just hear this guy crashing over. It was quite annoying. Nobody talks about it, but it is what it is. But the pants are technically the exact same thing, but they did improve the cut in here just a tad. Like it is up to date just a little bit. I like that they did that. It doesn't obstruct the range or anything like that, like it did with the New York Comic Con Gogeta. It's like you guys wanted to follow the anime or the movie to a T, but it came in a compromise. I'm glad they didn't do that here with Lex. They just made it better. Although, my only gripe is they could have done a little bit better with the butterfly joint here, the butterfly swivel here, because Piccolo's, although it's ugly, you guys see here, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. Now, I get they were probably trying to make this figure look good, which I'm not complaining about. But because of that, it looks really good the way they did the scope, but it does obstruct the range of motion. Like, I can come out and do the arms this far, but because I can't get the the butterfly swivel in like I can with the old Piccolo over there, I can't even go across the chest. It just comes out that far, which sucks. But I get where they were coming from because it does. You do have better range in other areas that aren't with the old Piccolo. Turn this guy back around. I'm sure he's getting upset with us. We're talking about him, but it looks like, I mean, that's just the pros and cons between an old figure design and what they improved on. So that is pretty much a prime example here. I do like, for the first time, we have a Namekian with pretty much a bare upper chest. So if you want to swap any of these parts out, you can do that with this Piccolo, which I like. So it's like, if there was anything that you wanted with this Piccolo and you didn't get it, you can now have it with the nail, and vice versa. You can swap out the um, the really nice arm effect here, or you can also use the I guess you call this like the cut off arm piece, like the little arm nub from when Radix cut Piccolo's arm off or broke it off, I guess, in the Saiyan Saga. You can use this with nail. That's what's so cool. There's so many accessories that you probably wouldn't expect to be able to use with this newer figure compared to this old, but they're all compatible. I like that they did that. One thing I did not do, and I want to touch on that real quick. We'll do that right here. I didn't test out if you can use the cross arms. I mean, hit the camera. I didn't even test out if you can use the cross arms with this nail figure.
And
We'll do
while you
that.
get that together, did we ever see Nail doing cross arms?
Actually, no.
Maybe they're trying to be on brand with him.
Now, of course, it didn't come with cross arms, but I'm just trying to see if Piccolo's arms will work, and they do not. And the reason they don't is just because of that freaking butterfly swivel joint system that they have here now. All right, it was worth a try. I'm sure you got people out here who will probably see this and like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own, 3D print my own, or mold my own cross arms for this figure. Well, that would have been cool if that worked. It's just a way that the old Piccolo's butterfly swivel works. You can bring the arms in more, get better range compared to the nail. Nail's arm just can't come in too far to even attach it.
I was just thinking on behalf of like Tamashi,
Yeah,
if Nail never did the cross arms himself, if they would have been like, there's no reason to do it, so that's why they kind of went
you'll
that route.
you'll think that Tamashi be weird sometimes. Sometimes they'll include effects
Mm-hmm.
that were never shown in the show, and they're like, we'll still add that in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do with a bunch of Gokus and Vegeta sometimes. They're like, you didn't do that, but we'll still add it in because Goku.
Because I'm so new to everything, I'm still trying to understand Tamashi.
Good luck. We're all still trying to understand because sometimes their design choices don't make any sense. Because some figures like Nail, I'm gonna give my rating here. I'm gonna give this a solid 10 out of 10. I don't really give 10 out of 10s. Like I even gave the Broly a 9 out of 10. That was my honest opinion right there. Because I feel like it would have been a solid 10 out of 10 if, get this guy in range, if they had incorporated the some soft rubber plastic like they do with modern figures. But other than that, I get what they were trying to do back then. That's why I didn't really give it too much hate. This old Piccolo, I'm gonna have to give him an 8 out of 10. He would be even higher, just like Nail, if he had the updated feet technology. His range of motion is incredible. Like, this is a really good figure for what it is. Although it's not the best looker from when you're doing certain poses, it gets the job done. The only downside is the feet. Um, Also, I guess the way they incorporated a little bit of the cape. The cape is like it's just a whole plastic piece. Like it does get in the way. It's heavy, and they did incorporate you know this cutout here, and that kind of makes the figure ugly. But I'm glad they included that so you can just cover it up. But from the back, it just kind of it screws up a lot. I'm gonna go on a whole rant here, but overall, these are good figures.
Piccolo's looking like, what did you say?
Overall, these are good figures. Nail just came out. You can get him, I would say, I guess, relatively for a decent price. I think he's hovering around like, I think 100 to 125 right now. And of course, you got scalper prices right now if you weren't able to pre-order this guy through P Bandai. Piccolo, he's around the same price as Nail, but there is a reissue that's going to be coming out next year. So be on the lookout for that. You'll be able to get them for around retail for about $70, $75. So that's not a bad price at all for the amount of accessories you get with this guy. So, as I always say, if you're able to get these two figures within your budget, I say go for them both. Especially how you're able to interchange all the accessories within each other. It's cool. And you can come up with your own kind of like kit bash of a whole Namekian if you want to and just name it. That'd be another cool thing too. But as always, guys, that'll pretty much wrap up this video. Be sure to like the video and subscribe because that helps with the algorithm. Again, helps my video get out so others can see it as well. But until then, see you later.
Bye, guys.